Evaluate expressions with absolute values. After watching this video, I will be able to evaluate expressions with absolute values. The absolute value basically means the distance away from zero. Because there are numbers, negative numbers that are to the left and positive numbers that are to the right, we can have two possible numbers that have the same absolute value. And when we have these little bars across our numbers, these are called absolute value bars. So when we're trying to find the absolute value of the number, we're just trying to find the distance away from zero. So this 5 is 5 units to the right from zero. Negative 13 is 13 units to the left from zero. Positive 2 is 2 units away from zero. Negative 11 is 11 units from the left away from zero. 7 is 7 units away. And negative 4 is 4 units away. Now we can also use absolute values in a long operation, and we have to recall GEMDAS. So remember that the G represents grouping. Absolute value bars will act as grouping symbols because we are grouping that specific thing together. So I'm going to do my absolute value bars first. So I'm going to do what's happening inside. Negative 2 plus 5 gives me positive 3. The absolute value of 3 is just 3 units. And then I'm just going to bring everything else. I'm going to bring the negative 13 down. That was a positive. Bring down the minus, and then 6. And now I'm going to continue my order of operations from left to right. So negative 13 plus 3 gives me negative 10 minus 6. And then negative 10 minus 6 is negative 16. So we should try and write this problem down so we can have a form of reference. Grouping goes first, so I am going to do my absolute value bars here. So negative 5 plus 2 gives me 2. The absolute value of 2 is just the number 2. Then I'm going to do the absolute value of negative 9, which is just 9. Bring down the minus, bring down the plus. Then do the absolute value of 12, which is 12. Then I will continue my order of operations from left to right. So 9 minus 2 gives me 7 plus 12. So that gives me 19. We can also evaluate expressions when we have variables that we have to substitute for. So in this case, we can replace letter T with number 3. So really what I have here is the absolute value of 8 minus 3. The absolute value of 8 minus 3, well, that's 5. Absolute value of 5 is just 5. Bring down the plus 3. 5 plus 3 is 8. Again, if I have a variable and I know what the variable equals, replace letter with number. So I'm going to keep the 5 plus absolute value 3 minus, and then I have a negative 3. I'm going to do inside my absolute values 3. This turns into a plus. So 3 plus 3 is 6. Absolute value of 6 is just 6 plus 5, which gives me 11. Now you try. Evaluate this expression. Press pause to see if you can do it by yourself. Then press play to see if you got your answer correct. So first I'll replace my letters with the numbers they equal. Keep all the numbers the same. So I end up with 4 stays. W is actually 4.5. The minus stays, absolute value, the 2. R becomes negative 3. Then plus V is a negative 8. My absolute value bars are grouping. So I'm going to do what's inside here first in my order of operations. So 2 times a -3 gives me -6. And then simplify that positive and negative. And then -6 minus 8 gives me a -14. But then we have absolute value bars, so I'll have 14. Then bring down everything else. We have 4, 4.5, and the minus. So now we want to find 4 times 4.5, which gives me 18 minus 14. So my final answer will be 4. You want to rate your progress, 1 being you do not understand and need to revisit this skill, 2 meaning you sort of understand, you just kind of need to practice, 3 meaning you've mastered the skill, and 4 meaning you can even help teach it to someone else.